Welcome to Tech Talk with VLink. I'm your host, Tracy Gardner, and today we're diving into one of the most pressing challenges facing organizations today, making sense of all the noise around artificial intelligence and turning it into real measurable results. Our guest today is Mostafa Shabka, a global digital transformation leader with deep expertise across telecom, consulting, and enterprise technology. With over a decade of experience at top organizations including Sienna, PwC, Huawei, and Deloitte, Mostafa has built a reputation for orchestrating complex enterprise level digital transformation and AI programs that deliver operational success. He's here to help us unpack how leaders can cut through the AI hype, align initiatives with business goals, and deliver tangible value at scale. Mostafa, welcome. We're so excited to have you here.
Thank you, Tracy. I'm very happy to be here.
Mostafa, before we actually dive into the AI thing and talking about that, it's our subject today, you are currently advising a fast growing B2B SaaS company called Reviews AI. Talk about that real quick.
Reviews is a reputation management platform. It's first and foremost, a data company. So think business owners that have a ton of Google reviews and they want to make sense out of those reviews to help their operations see what their customers like, what they dislike, and make better data-driven decisions. So reviews takes all of that data, compiles it, and checks the trends. It uses a lot of cool technology behind the scenes, and it helps businesses make better data-driven decisions, basically.
Oh, that's awesome. That sounds exciting. I'm sure you're excited about that.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Mustafa, even reviews AI, you just talked about it a little bit. There's so much buzz around AI right now. From your perspective, what's driving the hype and how can leaders separate real opportunities from those distractions?
So before I answer that question, let's just test out the hype theory. I'm going to open my LinkedIn and let's see how long it takes for me to find something about AI.
Oh, I'm sure it won't take long.
Okay,
So you're on it now.
yes,
Okay.
and there we go. Our engineering team is 3 engineers and 30 plus AI agents. There we go. Took me less than 3 seconds. It's by a gentleman who co-founded a company called Supertest AI.
Yeah,
So the hype is there, as I'm sure everybody knows, and I think
for sure.
it's driven by two groups of people. The
Hmm.
first group is actually the consumer. The barrier of entry to using AI is basically very low. You can just create an account on ChatGPT or OpenAI, and you can start typing away. I mean, my grandmother can use it. So that low barrier of entry obviously creates a lot of buzz, a lot of hype because everybody can use it. But that has a more of a butterfly effect on the executives as well, because these people, the consumers, are going to put more pressure because they're going to be used to using those types of technologies. So from the consumer side, it's the low barrier of entry. For the leaders, it's, I would say, media over amplification is one thing. Second thing, vendors probably overselling some of their capabilities. And
Yes.
three, pressure from executives to do something with AI. And don't get me wrong, cutting through the noise doesn't
Yeah.
necessarily mean ignoring the hype. It's anchoring your AI initiatives or programs to concrete business requirements that are going to help your bottom line. So the
Yeah.
three questions that leaders could, I advise them to ask is, number one, is it going to solve a business problem that I'm facing or about to face?
Good
Does it
one.
track back to a bottom line metric? So does it affect my revenue, my cost, my customers? And the third thing, can it go beyond a proof of concept? So can we roll this out enterprise wide, or is it just going to sit there in a lab basically and cut it off?
Real good questions, Mustafa. I mean, they're great. And when you first engage with a client or organization, what signals do you look for that tell you whether they are really actually ready to adopt AI meaningfully?
I look at I look at four things. The first thing is change appetite. How willing are the teams, the managers, the engineers, leadership to rethink their processes and their workflows and think of better and different ways of doing things. The second thing is leadership clarity and support.
Hmm.
Are the leaders
Hmm.
clear on what they want to do with that initiatives? And are they going to support it, or is there going to be resistance at every step of the way? The
Yeah.
third thing is data foundation. So is there is the infrastructure well built, or is data all over the place? Is there proper governance? Because the models matter less so than having the right information at the right time.
Hmm.
And obviously, the fourth one, which ties back to it, is operational maturity. Are the teams equipped? Is the technology, you know, 30, 40 years old, or
Hmm.
are they undergoing more of a transformation? Are they upskilling their teams, and so on? If one of these falls short, then it becomes a bit of an issue.
And resistance is a big one. Yeah,
Oh yeah,
definitely. Yeah,
absolutely.
for sure. Well, many organizations, I think, struggle with aligning AI initiatives to their actual business goals. What would you say your framework is for ensuring AI initiatives don't stay in just that pilot mode you talked about, the proof of concept, but instead drive measurable business outcomes?
So the framework for me is, I would say there's an overarching strategy, and there are two main areas that need a lot of focus. And the
Hmm.
strategy is basically having a phased approach, obviously, with scalability in mind from day one. So we're not just going to say, let's test this out and then see if it can scale, but we have to build it with scalability to begin with, because we know that it's eventually going to solve a business problem or an outcome that we really want to drive forward. And the two main umbrellas are obviously people and processes. How do
Hmm.
we navigate change management and alignment? Do people or the stakeholders involved know the impact? Do they know where they're headed? And the second thing is more on the technical side, and I like to call this, and it's becoming a trend now, which is context engineering, but it is important. Prompt engineering is important for sure, but now it's becoming more of context. If AI doesn't know
Yeah.
the context, if it doesn't have the right data at the right time, it's going to be an issue. And context
Yeah.
needs to persist. If I'm going to a customer service chatbot and it's my fourth time, the chatbot shouldn't say, "Hey, Mustafa, who's just logged in 5 minutes ago." It should have the context of, I've talked 4 times, I've raised this ticket, I have this product, so that
Hmm.
it can help tailor the answer for me. And this is essentially context per persistence.
Should have the history for sure. Yeah, like it
Exactly.
follows you.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
it's more of a
Well,
technical issue for sure, because there's memory problems and so on and so forth. But
yeah.
that's why it's on the second sort of umbrella that feeds into that overall strategy.
So much great advice. I mean, you're giving. What role,
I
Mustafa,
try.
would you? I think it's good. I'm engaged with it. It's amazing. What role does cross-functional alignment play in making AI strategies successful, and how would you orchestrate some of that across those different stakeholders?
Alignment and change management are the two hardest pillars to crack for any digital transformation or AI initiative that you're trying to enroll, because AI specifically spans product, data, marketing, compliance, operations. So everybody needs to be aligned in a way and know where they're headed, because if they all start to do their own thing, then becomes shadow AI and nobody's aligned, and in between that gap is a lot of sunk cost.
Yeah.
Um, to tackle that, I mean, it's easier said than done, but the first thing is a clear destination, or I don't like to use that word, but North Star. You need to know what your North Star is, and everybody
Sure.
needs to go back to make sure that we're working towards that specific common goal, whether it's coming from the executive, from leadership, from whoever. And the second thing is a unified portfolio. So there needs to be a ledger with all of the initiatives that are being worked on, who the
Hmm.
prime is, how long it's going to take, what the deadline is, the status. Everybody just needs to know what's happening because that avoids any type of conflict or overlapping efforts. Maybe this
Sure.
team is working on the same thing as that team. So if you bring it all together, it becomes a lot more clear and everybody's more collaborative, nobody's blindsided. The third thing is a cadence involving all of the stakeholders that are going to be impacted, where they can discuss the progress, the trade-offs, and any issues that might arise that one team didn't think of that the other team knows. And that cadence needs to be governed by some type of council or board to make sure that everything is flowing pretty seamlessly. That's
Yeah,
how I would put it.
communication, definitely. I mean, like you
Exactly.
said, it's just across the board is so important. Mustafa, can you share an example without going too deep into specifics where you've seen AI initiatives actually fail and what could have been maybe done differently?
I, I have seen it. um,
I'm sure you have.
and the reason it failed was because it did not include the users of that specific tool or program that they were enrolling. It was basically build it and they will come, but
Mhm.
that's definitely not the way to go about it. And there have been other issues, of course. There's competency of the team that's developing the tool, but the main
Oh,
problem was people using it were not involved in the design or the solutioning of that specific tool. So when the tool got released, everybody said, that doesn't really solve what we're trying to do.
mhm.
So they reverted back to what they were doing. Had they been involved from the start, or at least some of them, and maybe some interviews, some surveys, or whatever it may be, and then get all the data together, see what the trends of the problems are, and go from there, then it would have been much better because you're
Yeah,
tackling a problem instead of starting with the solution that people might not find a problem to, basically. So
makes total sense for sure. Yeah, that makes total sense. Um, well, how would you guide teams, maybe the ones that are failing? I mean, like you said, there's not good communication there to move beyond experimentation and proof of concept toward that full scale execution.
great question. I would say you need an exit criteria at the beginning.
Mhm.
So when do we say or put a check mark that this needs to go beyond proof of concept? There needs to be some type of criteria that we come up with at the beginning. And again, whenever we're going for a proof of concept that we know is tied to a business outcome, we have to start with scalability in mind. We can't just say,
Yeah.
okay, when we decide that it's going enterprise wide, or when we decide to add more users or more business units, let's see what we're going to do then. It's it, you're just shifting the problem or putting dust under the carpet, as they say. You have to start with scalability in mind from the get-go and try to feed it real-time data as opposed to just static stuff that is over a year old.
Yeah.
And the way to go about it is, and this is an important concept as well, is organizational ownership. Which department is going to own this, and what budget are they going to allocate? Which KPIs and resources are they going to give
Yeah.
to that specific program? If they don't, it is just going to stay in a lab somewhere, stuck in POC, because nobody wants to allocate the proper resources to grow it. So that's a very important factor, and it needs to be agreed upon before the program or the project starts. Who is going to take ownership of this once it scales? What are the resources that you are willing to give to in order to advance this initiative?
Planning is just key. I mean, all around, as with any project, and especially I think with AI, because we need, those guardrails too. I mean, it's evolving rapidly. And, like you said, how should they think about scalability and flexibility in their AI, adoption and AI strategy? What do you think, Mustafa, excites you the most about the next phase of AI adoption? And where should business leaders be paying the most attention?
AI is no longer a side project or a bunch of distributed efforts where somebody does something to generate contracts, somebody else does something to read logs. It's becoming more of an organizational transformation where leaders think about incorporating AI into the very fabrics of their operations. So it's no longer a bolt-on, but it's
Yeah.
more embedded within their DNA. And obviously, if you take that next step, then you have to take into consideration everything we've talked about before. So that's quite exciting because it touches upon many different aspects of the organization, and then you get to see, you know, a holistic view of everything that's going on.
Yeah.
Um, what excites me most about the future is obviously the rise of you know, multiple AI agents doing different things, but how they interact together is definitely going to be something exciting. It's seeing all these different pieces moving together and informing each other, making decisions, and just giving leaders or users the gist of what they found. They go through emails, they find a meeting, they check the meeting notes, and then they give a an update, or they update dashboards on the fly using real-time data. All of this stuff is incredibly
It's
exciting, and it
it's
helps
crazy.
leaders
It's
make better
booming.
decisions, right?
Yeah, for sure. And it's just mind blowing. I mean, I haven't seen some of that like that you're talking about come to fruition yet because we don't use that, but I'm sure you have, and it's crazy, all of
Yeah.
that. So if you could give like one piece of advice, Mustafa, to C-suite leaders looking to cut through all of this AI noise and achieve those tangible results with AI, what do you think it'd be?
Don't treat AI as an experiment. Anchor it to problems that you are facing or about to face. Don't ask, what can AI do? But ask yourself, what are the workflows and the processes that impact my performance and my bottom line? And how can I use AI to improve upon them and get better results? A bit long winded, but this is what I would say.
Oh, it's so good. I mean, don't treat it as an experiment. That alone is just about so valuable. Well, this has been the most interesting conversation, Mustafa. I certainly appreciate it. Thanks so much for sharing your insights with us. Any last words to add or anything to add?
Tracy, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much. I've had a lot of fun answering these questions. Very, very good questions.
No, thank you. Thank you for joining us. And thanks to all of you for tuning in to Tech Talk with VLink. Stay curious, stay critical. Most of all, stay tuned. Until next time, I'm Tracy Gardner, and this is Tech Talk with VLink.